And it's worse because they've looted this alcohol. So what's happening is Bashayama Prai. Serious, show.
Bashayama Prai.
Yeah, Bashayama Prai. I mean, they didn't buy this meat, show.
So Christmas in July. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a special. I know, so we always say a special, but this one is a special one.
This is a real special.
A special edition of Podcast and Chill. We're coming at you live from Soweto. We are in the trenches. We are here, comrades.
Yeah. No bulletproof vests. We are with the people. We are the people.
Please welcome Soul is here, Ghost Lady is here.
Hello, hello, hello.
Also joined by Thabang. Thabang, do you know who Thabang is, so?
Oh, Thabang, bro.
This is Thabang from the Dojo podcast. He crawled so we can run.
Yes. I wish I could loot his brains.
What's happening, Thabang?
Good, my nigga.
I'm good, bro.
Welcome to my hood.
Yeah.
You've been on the Dojo podcast before, by the way.
Yes, I remember when we freestayed.
With Dineo.
Yes. Oh, that was lit.
We were talking about dildos and shit.
It's a different time now.
It's a different time today. I think it's more serious. Obviously, the climate in the country. And yeah, you guys decided to come to Soweto because I suppose from the news point of view, there seems to be a lot that's happening. In fact, we are about 2 kilometers away from Jabulani Mall, which is where most of the, activity was happening.
Yeah.
So yeah, happy to be on your podcast, MacG.
Thank you, man. And who's this gentleman by your side?
Libitoke Harvey, I'm Mosilili. I'm a member of the community. I stay like YTT. I also have a business like I see. Yeah, well, looting are being affected in a way because right now, as we speak, I can't even organize any ingredients, zopega and all of the shit.
But I heard you were looting yourself.
Yeah, but
no, I looted Amalendo, Amatildos. Sadly so. But on a serious note, it's Kawatile riding, blind. And it's really something in Kenya because at the end of the day now, places like Dlamini, where I normally go and get my ingredients and stuff, that place has been looted, and that's a place from my rough estimation on a daily mangpegile, that place caters for more than 200 employees.
Wow.
And so Guti, when you look at Tina and black tax, one black person is responsible for a minimum of 5 mouths. Sure. So if you can imagine, Guti, if 200 people are going to be laid off because of that shit, and the next thing, that means 1,200 people that will be starving. You understand?
But when did this start? Because we've got a lot of international chillers who might be watching this and don't know what's happening. All they see is the news, Twitter. When did this start? What's happening?
This, it's been something that's been brewing, to be honest. Yabona, taking us back to the fact that Tina Limezans, we are self-entitled. We are one lazy bunch. That is true. Our time we want things for free. I mean, we pump babies and then we expect the government to pay for them. We want free education. Right now, they claim it's because of the 350 COVID-19 relief. But in actual fact, no, it's just being thugs and being lazy. So on Sunday, there was a rally at my. where this guy, the ex-DJ of Ukozi FM.
Kunu, what?
Yeah.
Kunu.
I think he's a Zuma sympathizer.
Yeah. So that guy, he gave the government ultimatum that the government has 3 days to release Zuma, or else all hell will break loose. And I think based on Uguti target market, Kaila stand at 5 and Abapuming Fenstera, they bought into that shit. And then from Sunday night, actually, that's when they looted the top Sandfield. So there were guns going on. So it was crazy, man. I remember the incident in Qatar that we had a couple of years ago. Actually, I couldn't sleep. I told you, I've got
reminiscent of that.
Yeah, I was so mixed up. Even my 14-year-old, he took a chef knife from my two and said, that's how serious that is. Because now you also wondering, shit, I'm running a business. What if they decide to come and loot here? Of which maybe but that's still money that bought that stuff. But it has impacted us badly because now, for example, right now, I was driving around. I had to drive as far as, what's that place? Discovery. Because I went to the checkers at Hill Fox to see what can I buy and all of that. You can't stock up anything.
Nothing.
Nothing, bruh. Nothing. I mean, that butchery I'm referring to, Livingstock Aguyo, you would get a kilo of means for 60 rands.
Sure.
Right? Now, when you go to these butchers and you want a kilo of means, it's going for 9,400 rands. So that means, Gucci, the simple basic food, with a minimum meal, quarter 12 rand, I'll have to pump up my prices.
Wow. So there's no food right now.
There's no food.
I'm serious.
There's no bread.
There's no bread.
Yeah, because what's happening is that I think all the companies, especially that can be easy targets. So your bread deliveries, your milk deliveries, they're going to be very vulnerable to, obviously the aftermath of this thing. So I think most companies are doing a wait and see attitude to see what's going to happen after the deployment of obviously the police and everything. But Moyes Paza, no, Agna Singh, I had to bring like 20 loaves from the north.
Wow. And how far did you have to drive to go to?
Well, I live in the north, but my business is this side.
Yeah.
So, but any other person would have to drive out probably 20-kilometer radius out of the hood to be able to get supplies.
Now let's just cut to people in the hood don't have cars. A lot of them. They used to take public transport just to get bread.
Even if we have cars, bruh, I'm a garage or tele petrol.
That's another petrol.
Yeah, there's a filling station there behind us. It's closed.
This one, I think right now they're trying to save. I don't know, but since from Monday, filling stations were sparred. You understand? My car has been parked since from Monday. I can't drive out. I had to get a friend to help me and drive out. So already that is me putting money into another man's pocket again over me not having business. No income, none whatsoever. The sad part, just a day before yesterday, I got a message with one of my friends. His stepfather passed away, Ellen Met. He was COVID positive. And the reason for that was that the trucks is petty, oxygen.
Yeah.
They couldn't drive to Lenasia.
Wow.
So now, Len Med ran out of oxygen and people die. So you want good lento labor and chain reaction engine. You want to bang boni ultimately. Apart from poverty coming in, apart from unemployment that will increase, we are still going to die. And it's worse because they've looted this alcohol. So what's happening is Bashayama Prai. Serious, show.
Bashama Prai.
Yeah, Bashama Prai. I mean, they didn't buy this meat, show.
Christmas in July.
Christmas in July.
But the narrative people are pushing is that these people are poor, and if they're stealing food, it's for them to consume or to sell.
Hell no.
And therefore have disposable money to spend on whatever their basic needs are in their shacks.
No, Otiama, there's nothing like that. That narrative, Otiama, is just something that people use, Jay, as well. Let me tell you, for starters, these guys, they get 350 grand. What do they do with it? But my pumps, bafaging copy, by go unveiling, by go after tears. They drink that money, Otiama.
But I think
that's the minority.
Yeah, but I think you have to contextualize it, ne? And the way I was speaking about it to my friends was that it's easy right now to look at a pot of stew that's just ewile and ishisabantu. But this thing has been cooking and brewing for some time.
True.
Right? It's been cooking and it's brewing for some time. And of course, when you're gonna deliberate on it, what's currently happening and then work ourselves backwards in terms of where it started. You know, it's fees must fall, it's sporadic xenophobic attacks that come and we quell it, it's electricity, it's service delivery. Then the whole Msholozi thing just became a trigger, not necessarily a cause.
Yes.
It was a trigger, but also the trigger is also telling of the political climate that we are in. You know, where there are sympathizers of Msholozi that believe he's being mistreated. There are people that don't support the current government, right? So that thing just became a trigger. And then all hell broke loose. So I think to contextualize it, I don't think it's necessarily abantu abalambile basekasi. Of course, when people don't have hope and you've got a leadership vacuum where it feels like the president is not in charge, you know.
Hey, swag. Did you see his speech?
Like there's no sense of authority. There's no sense of direction. Even now, like he's not even in the trenches. It's not like let me go to a community. I know I've got bodyguards.
He's in Cape Town.
And be seen to be with the people.
He's in Cape Town.
And isn't he from Shawelo, right around here?
He's from Shawelo, yeah.
And he can't even come down to.
Yeah, he's from Shawelo.
Oh.
But my thing is, there's other provinces where there are people who are hungry, unemployed. Why aren't they looting and stuff like that? Why is it just here in KZN?
Look, I think there's a reason for it. I think when you look at geographically South Africa, because of the trick of Msholozi, KZN was always going to be a given.
100%.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
Then South Africa, Joburg, by the virtue of having the largest share of townships and the volume of people and where the economic hub is happening and the biggest share of squatter camps and informal settlements, it is a consequence of that. Do you know what I mean? So whenever Gauteng catches fire, you know, the rest of the country will obviously be impacted. So I think the two drivers is because Msholozi is from KZN and you still have a bigger Zulu-speaking nation even in Joburg. You know, Amba hostels and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I think that would be the reason why Joburg and KZN in particular would have been highly impacted.
And again, just to add on that, when you look at it, the way Soweto is built up, Amba hostels, they are within the townships.
Oh.
So most of the hard-hit areas, that's where the hostel is in close proximity. You look at Jabulani, it's close to that hostel. You look at Dobsonville, there's a hostel. You look at Dube, it's that type of a thing.
Even in Forslow, Naledi Mall is literally opposite a hostel.
The hostel,
and it was the first mall before Chris Honey that got ransacked, and it's in ashes now. It's flattened literally, and it's opposite. So is it a coincidence? I doubt it.
It's not a coincidence, yeah.
And the crazy thing is, when you go on social media or the news, you think the country is burning. But we drove now from Midrand. We went past Maponya Mall. We're here now. It's not burning. I mean, obviously there's certain areas that are burning, but not the whole country.
You're giving away your opener because you said you were in the trenches. Now you just gave it away. You're in the most safe part of Soweto. With your bodyguards and shit.
But if you go on Twitter, you'd think the country, it's World War III.
Yeah, I mean that almost reminds you of because I've got friends that live in other parts of the world, and they're like, hey, are you safe or whatever?
Yeah.
But what it shows you is that the way that we consume information and the way that information gets packaged, you'll obviously zone in on something that's more sensational, that people are interested in. You know, so the traditional media is not here. The traditional media is stationed outside the malls. And I mean, I suppose if you could record outside the mall during the time that it was happening, people will think literally it's burning, everywhere is burning, you know. But to say it's burning, generally, I don't think it's too far off a characterization, you know, but what's Mmasechaba?
Yeah.
You know, what's Mmasechaba? It's just that today there's did they declare state of emergency? I don't know, but there's the soldiers are on the ground. The president has addressed the nation.
And it's dangerous because, you know, some people are sharing images of things that happened years before, that happened in America.
Videos have been shared from the riots that they had for Black Lives Matter.
Social media.
So social media is like that. It's also now things that are just exaggerated. Things are not even happening. Like they would say, sometimes even captures, remember we have had previous strikes and stuff. So you're seeing videos from way back and you're like, how guys, no, this is not happening, or it's in Gauteng, or it's somewhere. It's like, no.
Yeah.
But this is the sad part also with social media.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. And then when you come here, it's different, you know.
Yeah.
But Gwanyi was still.
Yeah, but Gwanyi was still.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. And what do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen in the next few days, few weeks to come?
It's going to
This
be
is just
very
the beginning,
hectic. Yeah, it's going to be hectic because now when you look at it, the minute petrol in Asayako, that would mean whoever that's got a car, that's got access to petrol is king. You understand? So if I drive out to the burbs and I go buy a loaf of bread, I can come back and name my price and say loaf of bread is $50. It's either you eat it or shit. Fuck. You're screwed. You understand? That's how it's going to be. I'm just scared Gucci it's going to get to a point whereby it's going to be more black on black crime.
Eish.
Yep.
It's gonna get to that because now angithi the fountain lebes lokusimosha kuyo iphelile.
Yeah.
So now we're going to say let's target the Café. There should be something that we can just savage and say, yeah, let's target Harvey lapana na makota wake. He must have something. Do you understand? That's where it's going to lead. So I'm afraid it might even be as worse as is. Umuntu abuya maybe I'm exaggerating. Umuntu abuya Spani na peta macros and then you get marked. Because angnampopo. And already it was so ngayibizana iyahlobisiwa, you know, yapraisewa this thing yadecoratiwa, this thing of looting to a point ukuthi manje noma sengukubamba inkunzi, I don't see anything wrong with it.
We are normalizing it.
And then can still hide behind saying that abantu balambile.
Yes.
Did you understand? Yeah.
But I think that there are two things that are going to develop politically because I think politically we everybody kind of knows that there seems to be a leadership vacuum, where people feel like maybe the president does not have a good handle and hold of the situation, but you still have the constituency. So what's happening now is that they are trying to charge her daughter with inciting violence. So now when that happens, it's gonna look like Ramaphosa is personalizing so much this thing Zuma, even though it's actually there is merit in what she's gonna be charged for.
Exactly.
So now it makes it look like I'm tola mulatel labafethu. Do you know what I mean? And so what you will then see is that then the political fire, there's petrol that they keep still adding on it. But then if they take a political solution, then there's that thing people then say, but if Msolisi can get away with this thing, why must we be held accountable for crime? Because if you have a political situation, it means you have to let him go. But then there's a consequence that flows. Then people say, okay, then there's no rule of law.
Yes.
But if you maintain the rule of law, that those racial tensions that have started coming, political tensions and ethnic tensions keep bubbling.
What's crazy for me is when I watch the news, everybody that was asked, why are you looting? They all said, because everyone's doing it. They said we must come here. Our friends are here. So where did it start? Like, who was that one person who said, okay, let's go loot? Because there's rumors that there's a third force or third party behind this who's been fueling all this violence.
No. I think, guys, let's be honest. Each and every legitimate strike, you even said Black Lives Matter in America, there was elements of looting, right?
Yes.
When there's a normal strike, so the nature and the psychology of protest is like that everywhere in the world, right? So you will get a legitimate call for a strike, right? And then people that have always wanted to do something. It's almost like if I've always wanted to fight with you, but I've been scared. Once there's a commotion around your house, I'm gonna come step because now I've got cover. There's a disguise.
Okay.
So what happens is now the legitimate protest has also it's become a tool to some people that want to do something sinister. Somebody have got a restaurant who was always jealous can now come and say, "I'm about to never fit," and then stone my restaurant. You know. So I think that question is the non-starter because everywhere in the world, you'll always have protests that are legitimate that can get hijacked. You know. But remember, when it started, the trigger was always that the people were gonna march and strike or protest against what they believe is legitimately Msolisi being held what's the word?
Captive.
As in like he's mistreated. You know? So that was what they were gonna march
then people saw an opportunity.
Yes.
To loot.
Not that the potential does not exist, that even within that strike, there are people that say sometimes to get the attention of the government comes out only when there's distraction.
Yes.
So even if it's legitimate, but the mechanization of it, I can say, this is what we're going to do. We're going to deliver a memorandum, but so that the government takes us serious. When we go into shops, we're going to break shops and do, because then it creates a sense of agency. Do you know what I mean? So I think that will always happen with every strike.
Yeah,
you know.
Are there any ways that the poor and disenfranchised can be heard by the government without being violent, without looting, without burning areas and regions?
There are ways, but the thing is that for starters, let's not forget, Guti, our constitution says that you've got a right to protest.
Yes.
Do you understand? So that on its own, it has actually laid a foundation. Yoguti everything and protest and shout. And you find that Guti, people that are pressure groups, when they're supposed to actually use some form of intelligence in terms of negotiating, they would rather resort to violence. So there are ways. It's just that leadership and people that we appoint them again upon popularity, not on merit. Will be able to go and represent me and represent my concerns as a member of the community. But because of popularity, so let's just send him forth. That's why we are sitting with what we're sitting with. And to sum it up all, in all of these things, it's not I can't call them the elite, it's not people that went to school or people that can apply common knowledge.
Yes.
Yeah, there's kids involved. When there's a service delivery protest for electricity, you get a 10-year-old that doesn't even have a house. He doesn't. But and we're not paying for it. Why are you blocking the roads? Why are you banning the tar? Anyone that's got a car wouldn't do that nonsense. The same thing that goes with this same looting that's been going on. Anyone that knows good, ultimately, when I go and do this, umamam usebenza emaponya mall. If I pen down Maponya Mall, my mother, my sister, my cousin, and my aunt, and somebody else, people who actually take care of me at the end of the day, they're going to be without jobs. They wouldn't do that. So it wasn't a question of Gutabantu Balambile, to be honest. It wasn't Konamanja. I hear there's this thing with, people are looting because I'm at 350 Sasa Valley. No, that's rubbish. These people are criminal elements that were just waiting for that opportune moment. And they're using the Zuma saga as a scapegoat.
But I wouldn't say criminal. I would say, but idle minds are the devil's playground.
Yes, I was about to say.
So that, because also criminality, you have to be very clear. Criminality is also premeditated, right? I can still do something that takes a criminal box, but it was not my intention. So let me make an example. Like alcohol, there's no alcohol. Everybody's been looking for alcohol.
Yeah.
If they loot here and I stay here and I see a 6-pack roll, I'm like, well, there's a disorder. I'm gonna pick it up.
Doesn't make it criminal.
But you wanna classify me as a looter.
Yeah,
but
a criminal.
But I was by consequence or by circumstance. Right? I just think that a lot of our people don't have jobs, and then there's a lot of, we just have too much time on our hands. We are not gainfully employed. There's no activities about sports in the hood that take away the kids.
How much do you think the lockdown helped to that?
And also the lockdown, because here's another thing. It's easy to say, stay indoors, no physical contact, but I cannot TV I cannot data, I cannot all these things. Do you know what boredom does to a person? Like, do you know what?
I do.
So my point is that, so in the hood, because also there's this thing in the psychology of the mind that there's always curiosity. Hey, it's almost like even if there's an accident here and there's no criminal activity, when people are bored, then there's a lot of us, there's 20 of us, there's somebody lying on the
just looking,
and then you ask this person, why are you here? Because I just heard there's an activity to do,
and I've got nothing
we don't have
to
enough
do
to keep us engaged. There's no sports for kids, there's no there's no work for the adults. So whenever something happens, if it's not a spectator value, if it's something that's being grabbed, I will grab, because that's the activity that's happening currently now. So you're gonna call me a criminal, not necessarily that the consequence of that it's criminal because you are taking something that doesn't belong to you. But my rationalization, when you come to me and call it a criminal, the message is not gonna land. Because if you're saying it's criminal, you are saying to take it away, have more cops. I'm saying that's not gonna go away. To solve it, it's a social issue. Right? Give people jobs, make sure there's sports, make sure there's facilities, then the opportunity for those things happening it becomes less.
And even if it does happen, then it's
exactly. Because they're not working. Exactly. That's the
Malume,
point.
thank you so much, man.
No, thank you very much.
Thank you. I wanna grab this
Mmasechaba.
Yeah, Mmasechaba, so she can give us her point of view. But thank you, Malume. Eh? Hey, you've got alcohol there by you.
Bravi.
Thank you, Malume.
Shorter Harvey.
Mmasechaba.
Mmasechaba is just alright.
Mmasechaba is just alright.
Mmasechaba is just alright.
Okay, cool.
I don't think I'm that much older than you. Trust me.
Yeah. All right. So, what's your story? Are you? What happened to Mmasechaba?
No, she also owns a restaurant up the road. Actually, I heard you on Power FM last night.
Yeah.
So, and I actually liked your views because they also aired about like the structure of the economy in the township, because obviously everybody's talking about what are the causes and all those things.
Yes.
So she had nice views, but she also has a business in the hood, I think around the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought it would be.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm co-executive producing this episode.
Sure, Fat Joe.
So yeah.
So my name is Mmasechaba, and I'm the co-owner of Native Rebels, which is just up the road. And basically, my story, what happened is the protest started. I would say it started with us, because it happened on Sunday evening around.
What do you mean with
9
us?
o'clock?
With
9
us?
o'clock.
Locals.
The locals.
No. So I'll give you context, right? And I'll come back to what my analysis of the situation. So you guys spoke about hostels and having patches of hostels all around Soweto, you know? So hostels, if anyone who doesn't know what a hostel is, hostel dwelling is where majority of people that are coming from KZN and other areas of the world, of the country, actually of the world, because Zimbabweans as well, you do find some in, and you find a lot of nationalities. But it's the most impoverished community that you will find within the township. There is no water systems. There is no infrastructure. There is no toilets. 2021, you still have a place in South Africa where people don't have, dignity.
Sure.
I don't know how many. I don't know how many people have been to these places, but I only started going there. I only went there once, and that was when I was around 19. Was the first time that I had actually been to a hostel. I do not wish any human being to live in those kind of conditions. And for me, it breaks my heart that it is still black people that live in those conditions. So the uprising started with these people from these communities. And obviously, I don't know what was the plan. They tried to attack our store. They did attack it. We were vandalized. Some windows are broken. We had to flee. I mean, there was a gunfight. I literally saw a gunfight there, But nonetheless, the next day, when everything just settled down for the night, I think it settled probably around 4 o'clock in the morning. Then the looting of malls started, right? The looting of malls went on the whole day, the whole night, and then we saw it all spread out through
Did it not start after the president said he's extending the lockdown?
No, remember it started on Sunday. It really started on Sunday. And it went through the whole night.
And the extension was on Wednesday night, ne?
No, Sunday.
Yeah, doesn't the nation on Sunday?
Yeah.
Sunday night.
Sunday night, yeah. 10 p.m., yeah.
Yes, right after the speech, that's when it started. You're right.
Exactly,
You're correct.
Yeah.
It went on. And it went on, and it's still going on. I believe that South Africa right now, in terms of media coverage, are a bit, almost 10 hours behind on what's going on.
100%.
Even 15 hours behind, right?
That's why we're in the trenches to talk to the people.
Yeah.
So, the truth.
So if you want to look at it as a wave, we've actually gotten through the wave. And now we're seeing the calm. But you're seeing the waves. Like COVID,
Yeah.
You're seeing these waves in other areas now coming about and about. But here's my thing. It started, and for me, it might have started with government factions. Actually, it did start with government factions, right? There is a problem within our ruling party, and there are people that are inciting. They probably have something to do with the whole situation.
Tango.
There is a third force, guys. But now the direction, right? Now the protest has kind of been hijacked, And who's hijacking the protest? It's the new protesters, which are the poor. Right? So now, I don't believe that. I don't call them looters. I don't call them criminals. I don't think anyone... Because if I saw kids walking out of Mr. Price with shoes and clothes. Things that they never had. Things that they never had, right? And others are doing it. And here's the way the protest part, I think, is important and where it comes in. That we are deliberately now going into malls. We are here at Café 1355.
Yes.
You were not touched.
Yes, I was not touched. I was just impacted.
You were impacted. You are not affected. You are infected. Oh, no, you're not infected. You're affected. One of the two, right? You've got the Kota place. So that was sitting here. He's also who was not affected. A lot of black small businesses are actually not affected.
Yes,
sure.
It is the big malls that were hit, and they were hit hard.
Yeah.
And hear me out, right? This can create a new economic landscape for the township economists.
Okay.
For the black businesses. For the black creatives.
Okay.
For the black creatives, and I'm calling that. For young people, right? For young people to now say, what are the opportunities? Now people are like going crazy. I'm listening. Hey, where are you gonna buy bread? To make bread, you need flour, baking powder.
I see what you're saying.
You don't look at the silver lining beyond this.
You don't need Albani. You don't need Sasko. Actually, they got shit. Sorry, we're allowed, by the way. They got shit.
And they're still selling in the north, by the way.
They are shit.
They're selling in other parts of the world.
They're still coming here. And let me tell you something. People are, the investors are not going to come back. We have 1.5 million people in Soweto. They are going to come back.
And that's the official number. I think unofficial is probably 2.5.
Yes. Way more.
Yeah.
We have the economic strength of Gauteng. We have the labor of Gauteng.
So what you're saying
we
is
have the most educated.
So what you're saying that people are now going to start being innovative and self-sustain themselves?
I hope so. Okay. I'm praying so. And I want us to debunk the stereotype of that people are lazy. We're not lazy. We up here every day. We're up here grinding every single day. Are you not grinding?
No, always.
How many times has...
Because you're a vendor.
You know? You're a vendor, man.
But I think
and
also...
And I bushback ridge. And Rona, we've been in the rural areas. I call my parents, I call my family, and I check them out. Like, we got food gardens at the back, we got chickens in the front.
You know what's the dichotomy for me? The dichotomy for me is, to what you were talking about, is there's a reason why people went to malls and didn't touch their people, because you want to fish where the fish is. So mall represents abundance of shops, so abundance of opportunity, even if I steal. So a mall is, if I want to go shopping, if I want to have options, I'm going to go to the mall. So also if I'm going to go steal, the same rationale applies, right? So it's not a clever, there was no premeditation that says, oh, let's spare our people who have small businesses.
I think there was.
No. Okay, my view is that I just think generally, it's because if I'm going to loot, where there's food is where there's a lot of shops.
You're taking from those with more. You don't care about the skin color.
However, there is a point that I want to build on to what you said, which is, I saw people saying save our mall, and there's a part of me, I'm 50-50.
Yeah, because it's not our mall.
Even our malls, these malls, they still represent white businesses. And when we say our, we mean our only as consumers, only as employees. And for me, that's where I think the opportunity to change the structure of the township economy comes. So if there's a mall that gets built, and from a developmental point of view, you want a government to be able to say from a spatial planning, here's Soweto with 1.5 million people that have usually had to drive out or take taxis out to go work somewhere else in Randburg. But why don't we say 50% of the mall, we're going to put it out to restaurants that have been grinding in the township, and then we say, instead of only being Wimpy, MacG Bin, which all are from famous brands, Har Kenyan 1355 ka Thabang.
Why not?
So that he has an opportunity of operating within an environment that has mass market that's captive, right? If we're saying retailing, why would you have at Maponya Mall both Woolworths, Pick and Pay, but retailer for fucking 25 years? And now if we can reprogram and change that also as a government to be able to say, for how long is he going to be a corner shop?
I also want to touch in on celebrities and influencers. What do you think?
Go then.
Yeah, because we've seen Chup come out and say some things.
Yeah,
so Maisie,
Abalona little rato da.
Lil KG.
Keep my file. And I was only interested in the files.
What do you think is the role of celebrities and influencers?
Can I get to that?
Yeah.
And then after, I just want to address something quickly. Very important. We don't need malls. Period. I believe malls are a thing of the past. COVID showed us that malls are actually a problem.
That's also a fair point.
You know, you could have more destruction happening. I could drop a bomb at a mall, go Jabulani mall on a month and I would kill half of Soweto. Very dangerous places in actual fact. We need to be able, that's why the land question is very important, right? Because at the end of the day, you still become a tenant. And when you're a tenant, you're the first to get kicked out. Right now, you're using your backyard.
Yeah.
I'm assuming maybe it's your mom's yard or your grandma's, but you don't have stresses of rent.
Sure.
Black people already, we don't have the amount of resources where we have a backup plan for rent for the next 6 months.
No.
Yeah.
Not even 6 hours.
Not even 6 hours, my dog, you know? So you then start to be still trapped in this cycle of poverty, because you've got the burden. When first COVID hit, first wave last year, so many of businesses that were in the suburban areas who were renting, that were black, were the first to close.
Yeah,
they were the first to close. Right, so and I'll leave it at that, and I think you can ponder around it even more. That why is the land question then becomes so important? That if we had our own spaces, if we had our own land, if we had access to finance, if we had resources, if we had labor, we are able to build these things ourselves.
Just to touch on that, it's I saw something beautiful in what Singapore is doing, or what they did, because they were also like poor. Country like we are, right?
Yeah.
And then what they did is the government started buying back the land at a cheaper price. And then when they bought back the land, they then employed their own people to build housing, to build the malls like the ones that she's saying, you know, which is something that I think if we were to do that, it alleviate a lot of poverty.
But I think they bought the land from who?
From the people that own. So let's say here it would be from the white people.
Or from the colonizers.
Remember, they were also colonized.
Yes.
We were all colonized.
Yeah.
With the exception of Europe and America, right? Every part of this world has gone. So because we are such a young democracy, right, guys? This is the beauty of our situation, is that we are able to take so many learnings.
Yes, from others.
Yeah. Right? Look at Rwanda, look at Singapore,
China.
look at China, look at Nigeria, look at Botswana.
But all those places invested in their own people.
They invest
besides investment, ne? Guys, leadership is everything. You know, leadership is a soft skill.
What other leadership do we still
So when you look at Rwanda, ne? Look at Rwanda. If you're going to use Rwanda and China as an example, ne? Let me tell you something. The problem of South Africa is so multifaceted. That's why I call it. It was this pot of stew that was boiling, right? You also have a situation where we are still Africans, guys, right? I'm a father. I've got 3 kids and a wife, right? The moment my kids are able to make jokes about me and laugh at me as the authority of the house, I do not have a house. When you see the jokes that fly about somebody who's supposed to represent the father of the nation, but I can just wake up in the morning and diss the president. And it's a lot of things that talks to you about what are our values as Africans. Right, so that's the number one thing. And also, when you look at things that look at China and Rwanda, for things to function, you can't have so much fun. The things that fly on the internet won't fly. People don't know in China everything is tagged. You know, you don't have WhatsApp.
Are you blaming Mapiano now?
You don't have WhatsApp. You know what I mean? But my point is that you have to make hard choices, and for you to be a fully functioning society, ne? There are things that today you see as liberties that you won't have if you want to look like Rwanda. Do you know how many Paul Kagame has been a president for almost 15, 20 years? But because we are a democracy, you want to say that's undemocratic. China is a communist country by nature.
No, I disagree with that. I mean, look at America. People were making fun of Donald Trump every single day.
Yeah, but they have the economy. they
can make fun of.
Yeah, they kind of. We can afford it.
When you have money, you can make fun of.
Yeah. We can afford it. We can afford it.
We have to afford.
We can afford it. We can afford it, my G. We can afford it, and also America is an anomaly because it's not one singular culture. I mean, Donald Trump himself is not American as a native.
Yeah, you know? But all those countries took a decision one day. They're like, all right, cool. What we are doing now is not working. What's the way forward?
We're going back to the drawing board.
We're going back to the drawing board. I think that's where we are as a country.
That's where we are.
ANC is not working, guys. There's evidence. Everyone can see. So it's all about, okay. That's where we're here.
That's where we're here. We'll tell you what we want.
Remember that clip? President because this shit is on autopilot. Anybody can do this.
What's the solution though?
You know what the solution is? The solutions are they're not that difficult, guys. One is we need to fix the security South Africa. And you say people have not been talking about this, or this thing is just like it gotta just happen yesterday. And now we've been looted at. I've been getting looted like every day, you know? Not every day, but like it happens very often.
Very often.
The protest and the looting.
Your own security.
No. I'm not talking about my own security. I'm talking about us as a nation, that we can't keep losing so much money to corruption.
But we have no say in that. It's not like we told these guys they must loot. I mean,
I'm gonna get to 500
that.
I'm gonna get to that.
Our saying is obviously in how we vote.
Okay. We can look at it from a political perspective and how we exercise our vote, because there's a lot of young people that are not voting as well.
100%, yeah.
There's a lot of young people that are not voting because they don't know who to vote for. These are very complex issues for some of them. You know, they don't even know, okay, who the manifesto.
They don't even care.
Some don't even care. And I think today, now, it really just shows that you have to care.
Yeah.
But can we just address what we need to do? When I'm talking about security, is that there's this protest that have been going on for years about gender-based violence.
Yes.
Now people are so upset about, you know, protect our malls, like protect Zara, H&M and Cotton On and all these American companies. But why women have not been feeling protected in society?
Where was this energy?
Yes, where was the same energy?
Yeah.
And let me tell you the importance of when a community is safe and when a country is safe, what happens? Businesses can open for 24 hours.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like in Bali.
Like in Phuket, you know? I've been into Phuket and Thailand.
In the same example,
It might be poor countries, right? But the vibrancy and the freedom of just, I'm wearing whatever I'm wearing and I'm walking the streets, I'm spending my money and I'm not feeling at risk. Mozambique is actually even safer than South Africa. Wow. Zimbabwe is actually safer than South Africa.
But is that now a question of there's so much security, like they are heavy on security, or is it a question of the people, the culture, and the mentality, the paradigm shift?
Yeah. Okay, let me tell you.
Because we can't flood South Africa with cops. Just change the mentality of the people.
That's one way.
You don't loot.
But that's one way. But the other way is we have to increase police visibility in our area. Right now, this is an indication of how much police you have.
But I think like
a lot of people save their businesses themselves. They were not saved by the police.
But that's reactionary.
That's also a problem.
That's reactionary. That's reactionary. Security is reactionary. I think, to go back to what you were saying, because my wife was also saying, but if we're gonna blame poverty, I know a lot of societies that are poor. But
thank you.
There's an inherent violent nature of South Africa. The psyche of South Africa is violent. We protest violently. Our relationship is violent. Like the GBV, like the common thread is just violence. You know, because we come from violence. You know, like the whole thing about the struggle is violence. And then on top of the violence, what you then get is that because there's no prosperity. So because there's no prosperity, if I have something, MacG has nothing. So I've got prosperity. The only thing that can keep MacG at bay is if he has something that keeps him busy, which is a job, what I was saying. If he doesn't, the only thing available to him is violence. So I'm going to rob Thabang. Right? And then also there's a value system that I think is missing. You know, like I'm saying, our communities, our families, you know, if we fix, because a household gives birth to a community gives birth to a society, and then a society has a country. So most of these things, when you work backwards, how sharp.
And this is exactly what Israel was saying in that interview.
We don't have common value system.
Yes.
Can I ask? Okay. So I'm going to pick it up from where I left it.
Yes.
Secure country.
Sure.
People are feeling safe to be in the streets.
Yeah.
Open up businesses 24 hours. So what happens to the economy? Right? Now you're starting to produce. You're producing.
100%.
When you're producing more, you start employing more. When more people have money, more people are spending. And that's how
it's a perfect equation.
And it's a 360. It's a beautiful, if you did economics, it's like that little block. Production and manufacturing and farming.
But that's where the land issue comes, because we don't own the land. It's hard to do that.
It is hard to do that, but for now, we for now, and remember, you can't just.
So we're gonna record every 24 hours, guys. 24 hours recording this podcast.
24 hours recording, guys. How much are we bombarded with this content from like the USA?
Yes.
That's another thing.
From Nollywood, from Bollywood. So it's time for South Africa wood, maybe. You know what I mean?
But yeah,
but you hear what I'm saying is that once you activate, and that's what the grant money is supposed to be for, right? It's for people to have money to be able to invest back into the economy, right? But what you're seeing is that you can't just keep giving money.
With grants, you know what I would do? I would say, as a government of the day, every year you have not made anyone pregnant, I'm giving you money.
Wow.
The other way around. Because right now we are saying,
but you can't commodify. You can't start commodifying us having families.
Yeah,
not.
Jesus.
You have to be privileged for an education. You have to be privileged for healthcare. You have to be privileged for
to have sex.
To have sex. Like I was saying,
no, you can have sex, but just don't. Because the more you give birth without employment, the more burden you are to the state. Let's be honest.
China did the same thing at some point. Now they don't have a youth population.
Yes,
you know that.
Yes.
In Singapore, actually, I must move to Singapore.
Talk about Singapore like you've been there. I've been there.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So what they do is they don't have grants, but every person that works, they have a certain amount that they take from your salary that goes into your savings. It's compulsory.
Okay.
And you can use that for housing, schooling, medical bills, whatever it is. But every salary, everyone who has a salary gets an amount taken.
Yeah.
So then the people that are working, the money works for them.
Yeah.
Whereas here, the people that are working are now feeding
the 75%
that are not.
And which is an imbalance.
Yeah,
it's an economic imbalance, and that's what creates inequality. And now inequality is race related. It becomes racial, because when the inequality gap rises, it's more than it kind of looks. Not all the time. It also looks as though white people are getting richer and richer, or people that are living in suburbia,
and they are,
yes. But also there is a pocket, a very small group of black elites that are also benefiting, right? And they're also getting richer and richer and richer. So for me, I would like as South Africa to move away from the black and white conversation for a bit. Not that it's not there, it's there. There's racism in South Africa.
Yeah.
There is racism in South Africa, and we need to deal with it. But also we need to also question the class society, that we have such a have and a have not.
Yes.
Yeah, but even within our township, why is there that someone from the hostel can come and take someone from just across the street from them? And that means that the person who is across the highway
is a have.
There is also, like when you look at Alex and Santon. It's like they're divided by a street.
Yeah.
And the contrast between the two is very, very bad.
Yeah.
I understand. So that we need to close that gap where you're having a community where rich or poor or an average person and a middle class can actually live within the same community.
Yeah.
Not this huge class divide. Because now a lot of people are panicking in the northern suburbs. It must stop, it must stop, it must stop. You know why? Because they're scared that they're going to come in their houses.
Of course. Yes.
And that's why they'll call them criminals, looters, savages,
Which brings me to a point that I wanted to talk about earlier about celebrities and influencers. What role do you think they have to play in this?
A big role.
Yeah.
A big role. A very big role. That's all I can say about it.
The thing is, like, influence as well. Let's take apartheid. So then we didn't call them influencers. We call them either celebrities or people that were public personalities.
Yes.
So your Mmasechaba, your Mzwakhe
artists,
right? So what you realized was that during apartheid, they landed their craft in helping the revolution, even if they were not carrying a gun, even if they're not on the street, but their content, which was music at that point in time, or maybe art, they would talk to an art that seems to be in sync with the community. Whereas now, obviously, you've got influencers where you can also question whether that influence is very real or if it's artificial, because it's influence insofar as.
Do you want to destroy Instagram now? Are you trying to loot Instagram?
Yeah, so because now when you've got this wide categories of influence, there's somebody who's an influence as a makeup artist, and now when we're talking about this particular pressure point, are we going to look up to a makeup artist? Do they have a role to play?
Yes.
I don't know what role they have to play.
So you it's very important what you're saying, because you guys are speaking about influencers. First of all, I'm here to understand, what do influencers really do?
Yeah, actually you said celeb, ne?
Yes, but if you're talking about like celebrities, people in the art industry, not art but musicians,
entertainment,
musicians should a musician's music should represent the times.
Sure.
Which we've had a lack in. And you made a joke about amapiano.
Yeah.
And it's a very interesting thing that you are asking, and that you are speaking about, that there's something called musical epistemology, which is knowledge systems through music, knowledge systems through art, knowledge systems through culture. If you look at Jean Basquiat, or if you look at who's a famous artist, Asanda, their art reflect what is going on in society.
Imitate art.
You understand? And that's why you even see in the USA such a huge from artists where they're talking about Black Lives Matter, they're rapping about Black legacy, they're rapping about creating the black wealth,
and they've been doing it for years.
And they've been doing it for years.
Yeah.
And if you look at even Bob Marley, that's why you say have such timeless music. That what Bob Marley sings about now, emancipate yourself from mental slavery. We're talking about it right at this moment. That you need to shift your mindset now.
I think the other thing that's very difficult with celebrities is that if right now our biggest grievance is with the government of the day, which also happens to be black, what the government of the day has done is that it has taken the power of those artists in terms of them being activists in their art. Then they give them money. So now a Shimza will blow up and will have something happening at his restaurant.
Don't mention his name, he might lose the sound, eh?
Yeah, but I'm not part of MacG, and you guys will deal with those. The Dojo is safe.
So the Dojo will have the sound.
Yeah. So my thing is that if we look to artists to say, obviously as an artist, if you are a black coffee and just by being followed by 2 million people, your voice is the same voice of Soweto in terms of numbers. So that's why when we say to black coffee, and I'm just using black coffee because that's the name that comes to mind, we are saying because of your influence, you only have to say something once and it's heard by 2 million people.
But he can say something and people will say, when all you know is DJ, nothing about politics.
We are coming from
Same
that.
thing you said about the makeup artist.
We are coming from that. We are coming to that. So now what I think is then happening is that because the government of the day also notices that, so to get them on their side, when they rally and they campaign, those are the first people they give money. So now those people, because they've got food in their mouths, they can't say anything when the government is eating. How are you going to talk when there's food in your mouth?
Yeah.
So should celebrities or the influencers then, should they be encouraged to rather come on the ground instead of just tweeting and Instagramming and just Facebooking like some message?
How are you going to come on the ground when the ANC has given you a bag?
Yes.
That you bought your Louis Vuitton and your G-Class.
Dubai.
Dubai.
So celebrities
That's
basically...
why we buy... My father was rich.
There it is.
So basically, celebrities, even if maybe their music doesn't reflect what's currently happening in society, they have a responsibility to say no when the guys come knocking.
Yes.
And say we are campaigning, please wear our T-shirt.
Yes. I think celebrities or artists have a responsibility not to pick sides in political lines. Their voice should be on the side of the people. So that's what I think should happen.
Yes.
Because the problem is that immediately once you draw your line on the mask, because you're a public figure, That's why sports commentators do not have to say who their favorite team is. Robert Marawa cannot come out and say, this is my favorite team, because what then happens is that even if he was to have a legitimate criticism for another team, because we already know that his favorite team is Pirates, we're going to question his legitimacy. So when you're a sports commentator, do not pick sides. When you're a celebrity, be on the side of the people, so that the day that the government of the day does something wrong, you are not worried about when you criticize them, there's a financial backlash.
Okay,
you know what?
Can I say something about that? No, just quickly. It doesn't have to be political. It doesn't always have to be political, right? I believe that we've politicized everything. You know, sometimes even the councillor, like, you know, of a ward is like the biggest celebrity in town.
Yeah.
You know, and you don't, for me, you don't always have to be politics are important. Politics are very, very, very important. And when they need to be addressed in a political way, then we must address things in a political way. But just to have a position about, let's say, like Jay-Z, for example. Jay-Z maybe might not politicize things like Democratic or Republican, but he stands for black wealth.
Sure.
He stands for black excellence. He stands for
which is apolitical.
Let me give you an example. Akon. Remember Akon?
Yeah.
Akon.
He's building a city.
He's He's investing back.
Senegal.
Senegal.
Yeah.
You know, he's doing so much work back home.
And he's not pinning it on a political line.
Yes.
Exactly. And that's where I want to go with celebrities. Celebrities and people with money, not just celebrities, people with money and power and influence should be plowing back in their communities. Right now, what I want to see is let's say a Black Coffee, for example, actually adopting a bakery in the township and saying, okay, I'm going to invest into, I'm going to give you the business skills. I'm going to make it look cool
to invest in the hood.
Yes, I'm going to give you the business skills. I will send you for training. I will get you managers. I'll get you advertisers. I'll get you this. I'll get you the people. I'll get you the people. You just keep baking.
You know what I'm picking up as you guys are talking is that from the top to the bottom, it seems like it's just every man for himself.
And it's wrong.
So, for example,
we've
the government.
individualized our lives.
For the government, they just want to eat by themselves. They don't care about anybody, right? For celebrities, they're just worried about their bag,
their brand.
They don't care about anybody. The guys in the hostel, they just want to eat. They don't care about anybody. You know, and so forth. So I think from top to bottom, it just seems like this whole country, it's every man for himself.
Yes.
And that's what Bomama Winnie Mandela were fighting for, against. That's exactly what the problem is, that we want our communities back. We want a community-led society, you know. Let me tell you what happened yesterday. After the looting, were you here yesterday?
No.
You were not here, so I'm here all the time. And
that's some shade?
I think it is important that you spend your time where you work. I do think it's important. But anyway, and I'm on the same street as Jabulani Mall. And people are just Black Friday.
Yeah. But
like,
Coach Neo,
there was so much, you know. But let me tell you what people did in the communities, in their little small. They went into someone's house, they dump all the food, and everyone takes what they need.
Oh.
And there was a sharing of those resources.
Wow.
And I think that's what the world should look like. Not this. You have
all
so much, I have so little, and that's why you always say about young Monela, you know, and it's not that.
That was happening.
Yeah.
What?
What are you gonna do with 200 packets of toothbrush or like This morning I saw a kid. One had a blue shoe and another had a blue shoe.
And they are both left.
Yeah. Some probably got two left shoes. But then you gotta find that one who's got the right, shoe. Yeah.
Where's that guy who was promoting a mixtape? Is he around here? Does he live in the street?
No, I don't know where he lives, but he was in the mall. I like that guy. This is the moment.
Yeah. So I think we need to go to, and this is happening globally, by the way, as well. It's not like it's going to start with us, where people are actually going back into their community.
Community-led leadership.
Community-led leadership, where they're rebuilding their communities. They're creating things that they want to see for themselves.
I mean, Trevor Noah can give us $1 million. Just $1 million.
Just one.
Easy.
Maybe he does. I think he has a foundation. He has a foundation.
Anyway, so let's wrap it up, man. What do you want to ask or say? Anything in closing?
Hey, man, I just want us to get back to normal. I don't know how long that will take.
What does normal look like?
Do we even have the right leaders? Normal, maybe it's something we haven't seen. Firstly, normal, it's when there's not so many people idle. Like when you're driving to Foslo, you'd swear it's a weekend, right? That's not normal. That was our normal. Yeah. That's not fucking normal, guys. You know what I mean? So that's a normal for me. Obviously, COVID, gone, you know, and life as it should be. Like, it is an opportunity to fix a lot of things that were previously damaged that led to this thing boiling over. So,
do you think it needed to get bad so it can be good?
Always, bro. Look at Germany. We spoke about Germany, Japan, China. It was fucking bad in Germany. Germany was flat after World War II. Look at them now, right? Things
Rwanda, 2 million people died with the Hutus and Tutsis.
In Rwanda, sure. That place was also
and that was 94. So
that was now.
Yeah, that was 94 when we came in.
Thank you. Yeah. That was now, right? But us, it takes 3 weeks to fix a fucking pothole. Imagine now to fix 30-40% unemployment. How long will that take? I just want leaders who have the political will to
forget about the leaders, dog. They don't care about us.
We can't work, but the people cannot work in a silo. We can't. I
think we can.
We can't.
I think this protest is showing you that you can.
Yeah.
Hey?
Yeah.
What's going on right now is showing you that you can.
Yeah.
What? Well, nothing has been fixed now. We just broke
No, but what I'm saying is that if you want systematic change, you can bring about systematic change.
Yes, but
without relying on the government.
But we need a working government, bro. We can't fix the country. Show me one country that's got a broken government and is thriving.
You need leadership, guys.
Show me one country with bad government, but it's thriving because of its people.
Vendor.
Yeah.
Actually, don't talk about vendor.
Hey, the president is vendor, by the way.
That is so true. That is so true. The houses there, bro. Like
what do you want to say?
No, I think we really have to continue having such conversations. They can't just stop now because we are here. But I think what you guys have shared, it was just great to listen to you guys, and we need more conversation. And in the communities,
pause on
that
the
can
dildos.
actually lead.
Pause on the dildos, ne?
Yeah. And in the community, I think like it's been very beautiful to see communities who have actually like protected their spaces, saying, "Yo, you know what? No one is going to come in. No one is going to come loot this either, whatever place." So. Well, compared to saying we need a government, yes, we need a good government, but it's good to see communities also stand up, and we have to continue this conversation.
Malume, what do you want to add? Because you seem like you've got something that you want to add to.
Together.
This is my
Give
partner.
Him the mic there.
That's my
partner. This is a partner.
Yeah, that's my partner.
Okay, cool. Just grab this mic there.
Your boss.
What's your name, sir? Lebu. What do you want to add, my brother?
Just that there's a lot of opportunity in the hood, and we must just mobilize ourselves, get together and do the work. We are all talented. We all have brains. We don't need to wait for government. I mean, we've got businesses because we didn't rely on government. And so right now it's just to rebuild and keep going.
There's no one who's going to come and save us, Chief.
No one is coming.
Thabang, what do you want to add, my brother? Follow the Dojo.
I want to say to the people, if this was the Dojo podcast, we will still be recording. But these motherfuckers coming here with like 15-member crew and they want to record for an hour. You guys are fucking lazy. If this was the Dojo, we'd be going on and on and on.
24-hour recording.
But Jem, it was a privilege to be able to share my views on your platform. But I think for me, I also look at it as this is a learning opportunity. I think sometimes we make constructs about politics and economics so far, and right now what we are seeing happening is actually a lesson on economics, you know, because we need to be able to say, if unol autiakasi and on one rand, you used to spend 100% of it on a business that takes money out of Soweto. I've got an establishment, nzamefela got 25 cents, you know, like a bega yaka hai one, boya ko wimpi hai 3, so that I'm also insulated a bit, you know what I mean? And we know it's going to take us a while to get to the multinational levels, you know what I mean? But a learning opportunity about how money circulates in the economy and about how when we have those things in place, when things like this, the looting comes, we are insulated a bit, you know. But also politics, this thing of thinking politics is such a far away abstract, you know. Where's the councillor when these things were happening? We don't even know who we are voting for. Do you know what I mean? Because that's the person that needs to be here and stopping the people and talking to the people. Do you know what I mean? So I think this is an opportunity to be able to demystify certain constructs that we think are complex. Economics is everyday life. Politics are everyday life. But let's not despair, you know, and let's look at the opportunity. Like now, all the malls are closed, by the way. You know what this means? It means everybody that was buying burgers and pizzas from Dibonez for the next 3 months or so in Soweto, they're not going to get them. So it's an opportunity for a business owner in the hood to be able to say, how do I reimagine my business? That's an opportunity. We did loot, which is a bad thing, you know, but that creates an opportunity on the ground, you know, because Albany is not coming here. Flower, are you able to bake broad? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So that's, for me, that's an opportunity, even though there's a chaos, but there's an opportunity, you know? And yeah, we can come and discuss this thing on the Dojo podcast.
2 hours.
Talking about economics. I'm also selling merch.
Thank you. What do you want to say in closing, man?
I think to add on to that, even in great crisis, you're right, lies great opportunity. You know, this is an opportunity. I think we should focus on the silver lining. Stop calling people names, looters, whatnot, you know. And while people are buying alcohol back door, but they're telling people that they are looters.
Or they're criminals.
Or they are criminals, you know.
You not be here.
You made it.
Never get high on your own supply.
You bought it illegally,
Tanko.
But where the opportunity is with us young people. I think this is our time to really step up. We need to step up our game.
For our kids,
for your 3 kids, for my kids as well.
For 3.
Yeah, just 3 kids.
Hey, you're rocking, eh?
13, 7, and 5.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Being at it.
So, but also how we reconstruct our lives should not be the same way as it looked before.
Sure.
That's the important part. We're going to rebuild, but we have to say what we want it to look like now. Not rebuild the same way, you know, based on the same capital system and the same. Now, how do we want the picture to look like now? And I know what I want the picture to look like. I want people to be employed. I want people to do things that they love doing, not to, you know, they're like, protect your jobs. And they're not telling you that those are peanut jobs. Those are low paying jobs. Those are jobs where people can't buy houses. They can't take their kids to school, you know. I'd like to see the education system really change as well, that it is able to prepare young people for the outside world, you know. But most importantly, I would also like to see celebrities, influencers and people actually coming to the fore as well and saying that, how do we help? You might not have all the information, you might not know how to go about it. I'm here, I'm willing. I do have plans already, starting from this Sunday. It's Mandela Day. I do have it. A very important day, right? Because also it gives us a time to also reflect on what was Mandela's legacy. What did he want to see happen to South Africa? We are Mandela's children, by the way. Hey? We are the generation that our parents fought for. Our parents fought for us to be free, to be able to sit here and have this kind of conversation, which before they never had this kind of platform. But now they say, you know, young people, you must take on the baton, you know, and that basically means that we have to fight a new fight, which is an economic fight.
Yes.
We need to be included in the economy. The economy needs to transform. The economy needs to represent. The economy needs to fight poverty. Okay. Now, I want to be equal. I'm not looking to you know, plus Mamang, you know, guy with a Merc, you know, you get more respect than the guy with, I was once a rich man. No. You know, we should be living in an equal society where we can all live together, you know, young and old, black and white, Indian, whatever.
Just to
because
now they sit in the family meetings.
He always has that last thing.
You know, but you know it's crazy because last night I was watching the late great Credo Mutwa.
Yeah.
He predicted
Shout
this.
out. Yes,
Yeah,
I put that on WhatsApp.
Is it?
You must read the book now.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna read the book, man.
Yellow soldiers fighting in South Africa, killing white men and black men alike. I see villages burning. South Africa will be a tyranny, worse than any that we have seen in Africa. And South Africa's new government will be weakened and it will be seized by force. Some of the black men and women who are today negotiating peace are going to be arrested by a government in the very near future. They will be accused falsely of treason, and I see them standing in chains before military thugs. My eyes cry for you, Dr. Mandela. You have plowed a garden, but you are not going to be there to reap the bright fruits that you thought you were planting. My eyes cry for you, my Lord, Prince of Pumangene, Mangosu Tupteles. You shall be humiliated before the world, and your people with you. The Zulus are going to be called the enemies of peace. And many are going to be destroyed. My eyes cry for all my brothers and sisters who are in position of leadership in South Africa. How Gozo, Lord of the sky, why do I see you in a darkened cell? God defend you, my President Mangobe. You built a great country, but I see its flag like...
But I think, Mesh, can we put it like at the end there? What he predicted, but he predicted this would happen.
Yes, the Dojo. Dojo's got people reading our chair. MacG would never plug books. MacG would be plugging dildos.
Hey, but we are here, man. Podcast and chill.
Shut up.
If nothing changes, I'm going to Singapore. Eh? Singapore's nice.
Thanks, passport. Takasuru, man. Zimbabwe, Shebile, that's the Venda or Zimbabwe. Those are your two options.
Yo, what's happening? Thank you so much, chillers, for the continued support. Always remember, make sure you subscribe and you like. And also, if you like, you can become a subscriber. And yeah. Yo, what is happening? Shout out for your continued support on Podcast and Chill. Make sure you subscribe and like. They subscribe and they like. Right? Oh, that one. All right. Yo, what's happening? Shout out to... Nah, fuck. Let's go again. Me there, nah. To pain me. Yo, what is happening? Shout out. Thank you guys so much for the support. And always remember to subscribe and like. And you can also become a member and subscribe to Patreon and, you know, throw the coins a bit. All right, peace. Love you though so much. Last one? Yeah. Yo, thank you guys so much for your fucking continued support. Please remember to subscribe, like, and do all those things. Become a member, a patron if you want to bless us a bit and, throw the coins that make them dance on the podcast. Peace. Love you so much.